Hi everyone, it's Terry here from nutsaboutsstamping.com. In today's video, I'm going to show you that our catalogs are more than just catalogs, they're also idea books. I do this a lot when I'm looking for ideas that I can share with you. I often turn to the catalog and then modify a sample that I see to create my own idea. And I'm going to do that today using the Come to Gather suite, which is on page 46 of the holiday catalog. If you don't have the holiday catalog and you'd like a free copy, you can download one over on my blog. I really like this sample idea, and so I'm going to analyze it and then look at what I have on hand to make a card. So I'm going to set this aside. But before I do, I want to tell you that I'm going to feature the Come to Gather Designer Series paper. So let's start off by having a look at that. If you want a close-up of the patterns and a list of the colors that are in this suite, you can turn to page 48 in the catalog. So here is the Come to Gather paper. I've used some of it already, and I'm going to be using it again on today's sample. But here's the patterns and the colors, and let me turn it over, and you can see the other side as well. So it's got some really unique color combinations for this. My card base is going to be early espresso. I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5 and scored it on the 4 1/4 mark. And then to that, I'm going to add a piece of the Come to Gather paper. But before I do that, and very similarly to the sample that's in the holiday catalog, I'm going to stamp onto the background of this card base. And I'm going to use some products that I have. One of them is the Colorful Seasons stamp set. It has some leaf images in it. So I'm going to take the leaf image that's not solid, it's the one with the veins, and I'm going to ink up the stamp, and I'm just going to bring in a scrap piece of grid paper, and I'm going to stamp off and on the front like so. When you are stamping on the front of a card base, don't crowd it too much. Leave yourself a little bit of room just for visual interest, and if it's too crowded, it won't be very pleasing to your eye. Now, I've got that ready as one of the bits for my card. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in the solid stamp to go with the outline stamp, and I'm going to stamp the solid using soft suede on 2 pieces of soft suede cardstock. So I'm going to ink up the solid, I'm going to stamp off, and then I am going to stamp on like so. Again, ink it up, stamp off, stamp on, and then I'm going to bring in my early espresso again, and this time I'm going to stamp the ribbed bit. It's just hard to see. Let's see. Pretty good, good enough. And then I'm going to stamp early espresso right on top of the soft suede. And then I'm going to die cut those out in a minute. But next I want to do the same thing using my Pretty Peacock ink. And you'll see why I'm going to clean my stamps and do the same thing with Pretty Peacock. I'm going to coordinate it with my Designer Series paper. All right, I have cleaned off my stamps, and now what I want to do is do the same with Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to stamp the solid, stamp it off, stamp it on, and that just creates a lighter background. And then hopefully, perfect, actually. Okay, I'll clean that in a little bit. And then one more thing while I have my ink out is I'm going to create a phrase for the front of my card, very similar to the phrase that's in the sample. And I've got a piece of Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to use my Painted Harvest stamp set. And it's got this phrase, I am thankful for you. I used this phrase on a recent project, and I want to use it again. And I stamped it with Early Espresso onto the piece of Pretty Peacock. So now it's time to get set up and get everything die cut, and then we can finish off the card. All right, I'm back and I have everything all ready to get set up. I'm going to die cut the Pretty Peacock, and you can see here on the side of my video that I've already die cut out the 2 Early Espressos and soft suede leaves. I figured that you only need to see me die cut one to see how you would die cut all the rest of them. And I didn't want you to have to sit through and watch me do it over and over and over again. So I'm actually going to do something else alongside of die cutting this leaf out. I have another piece of the Come Together Designer Series paper, and I want to cut a circle out of it. So I have my layering circles dies as well for this project. And I'm going to die cut everything out here. Sorry about the wobbly camera. When my table wobbles, so does my camera. All right, so there's my other leaf, and there's my circle. All right, so I'm going to set this aside now, clean that all up later, and I'm going to bring back in my card base, and what I'm going to do is put this all together. I have yet another piece of the Come Together Designer Series paper, and what I want to do is create a banner out of it. So what you do to create a banner is you cut in from the center, you try and eyeball it so that you kind of know where the center is. I'm not one for measuring with rulers and all of that. So I've created a banner with my paper snips, and let me get my snail adhesive, and I'm going to adhere my banner on first. I'm going to sort of center it like so. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to adhere that on top. Maybe I'll put it like so. And then I want to bring in my leaves, and I think what I'll do, maybe sort of make this up as I go along. I think what I'll do is I want to have my phrase. Oh, that's kind of cute, isn't it? All right, so maybe what I'll do is I'll put my phrase on next and get that positioned where I want it to be. And I didn't have, there's my Stampin' Dimensionals. All right, and then I'll bring in my mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to add a couple of minis on the back of my leaves so that I can pop them up. I feel that when you pop up elements on your cards, it just adds some really nice visual interest. I think I only need 2. These are pretty sticky. All right, so let's see how this goes. Let me take the tails off, each one first. All right. Now, I think I wanted, tuck one under there. Let's put the second one like so. Ooh, maybe let's put the third one down like that. All right, so let's go back to my original, which was this card here. So you see how I took some of the elements from this card, like the banner, the 2 designer series papers. I stamped the background, and then I used what I had on hand, which were the seasonal layers Thinlits dies and the matching stamp set, which is the colorful seasons, to create my own version of a really fun fall, thankful for you kind of card idea. For a complete listing of what I used to make this card, a link to my online store, and if you want to download the holiday catalog for free, head on over to my blog, www.nutsaboutstamping.com. Oh, while you're over on my blog, you might want to also sign up for my free newsletters. I send a newsletter each week with a project idea you won't see anywhere else, and those are free as well. I'm Terry. I'm Nuts About Stamping. I hope you'll create something beautiful today too, perhaps using a catalog as inspiration for you. Bye for now.